Over the years and over the time that you have spoken, I've seen you speak. You've done training. You're one of the group. You're part of the group of co-founders of Keller Williams Louisville East,
Hmm.
and what I've noticed is that it's always been a client first philosophy.
Yeah.
Like, speak to that a little bit.
Well, if you're planning on building a business, you can't hit on like just one hit wonders. I mean, that's just not where you're going to build your business. You have to,
What is a one hit wonder in your?
somebody who buys one house from you and you don't follow up with them and see how they're doing, understand who they are, what makes them tick, what their purpose is in life, what their why is, who they're working for, why they're working for who they're working for. Those are all things that you need to dig into if you're going to build a business that is going to be sustainable. And anybody can build growth you can buy. You can buy Zillow leads, you can buy realtor.com leads all day long. You can grow your business that way, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're scaling your business. Scaling means that you're actually properly funding your personal side of your life as well. Scaling means like, hey, I want to have a 28% NOI on a year-to-year basis over the next 5 years. That's building a business. If your net operating income, I wish we all walked around with like net operating income signs instead of how much volume I did, because to me that's what matters. The NOI matters, not the gross commission income. And to me, that's one of those things where I feel like if we had a big old sign, like you guys have Investor Tribe sign that said, "Hey, my NOI is 28%." Now that's somebody I want to go have coffee with, not somebody who just sold. I'm serious. We go up and give awards all day long, but we don't know really what they're walking away with and funding their life with, and that's a huge difference. Huge difference.
And for those of you that don't know, our listeners out there, Keller Williams Louisville East is a large brokerage firm. East side of Louisville, they're part of Keller Williams. They've got the different territories in town, but they've always had some of the best agents. Very nice, clean, well-run program. They're always recruiting good agents. And every time I go in there, I look at the wall and I'm just impressed. Like, oh gosh, they're great. I've done business with them. They're wonderful. I know them from here. And one of the first realtors I worked with many years ago before we moved to Florida was Rick Hogue. It's Rick and Noel. So
Yeah.
Noel's no longer with us.
Yeah.
I hate to say yes. I see him go.
Yeah.
But Rick was always a character and
Yeah.
really helped me grow with with investing. And then we kept him busy buying houses.
Sure.
07, 08.
Yeah.
I remember we had lots of stories and then so many great agents with Keller Williams. So
Yeah, and we really focus on, our office is really specifically focused on business builders. Whether you're a solo agent, you have to build a business. Whether you want to have a small little team, or whether you're an individual agent with 4 or 5 administrative staff and team members, great, that's fine too. Or if you're a 15 to 16, 17 person type of team, we want you to come with the mindset of building your business, not just transaction-based business where you're just turning, and you're not building that established relationship and established business.
And I do want to ask you about that. And so, full disclosure, I am a Keller Williams agent, and I have been, and also Scott is also part of Keller Williams Louisville East. However, this is not sponsored by Keller Williams Louisville East in any way. I wanted you to speak to how loyalty and that consistent business is built, because I heard you say that you can't be one and done, you can't be transactional, but you've been able to build loyalty over time. How was that done, if you can speak to that?
Yeah, best example I would use on that is in 2011, I had a moving truck that was part of my marketing shtick, if you want to call it that. There's a few agents in town that have that, but I had a big old moving truck that I bought and had it wrapped and the whole thing, and it was a little bit of a jalopy. I was not in a position to buy something that was just like brand new or anything like that, and so it was an old moving truck, and so I bought this thing, and it always had a little bit of a motor tick to it. And had clients use it, and people loved it. They would move for free and the whole thing. And so it was one of those things where after probably 2 years, it was starting to age itself and I was a little bit worried about it, but I was still giving it out for as a free thing to use if they use us. I was on a vacation one time in Miami, Florida, and I got a phone call. I was in the airport and I was on my way home, and I got a call from a client that was moving his stuff into his new house that he purchased with us, and he said, "Hey, we have a problem. The truck's on fire."
Oh.
And I said, like, what do you mean? He's like, well, the fire department is here, so that tells you that it wasn't like a small little fire. He said, but it hasn't gotten to the cab yet. He said they just got the fire out. It was an engine fire, and there was some flames to it and everything. And he said, what are we gonna do? And I said, don't worry, I will take care of everything, 100% of everything. Yes, there's insurance on the contents, but I wanted it to be moved immediately. So I literally called 2 men in a truck and called them and said, do you have 2 men in a truck? I need you to back up to my moving truck, move everything out, and move it into their house for them. And I paid for that. And it was about $2,200 to do it. And the house was a $400,000 house. So I was making a nice commission on it, or compensation now. And the reality is that guy said, you made our day. You literally came in and saved our move for us, because we weren't going to be able to do it without it. And so we were worried about like the person moving in, and I was worried about everything in the whole process. But I was in the airport, and I literally said, hey, I need to go in and actually get them moved in as well. Not just moved into the truck, their stuff, but I need you to move them in as well. So just going above and beyond like that is how you're going to build a business that people are repeating what they're going to do. You have to be a problem solver. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to be a problem solver, because it's gonna happen.